Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham 𝐤𝐿𝐿. Your double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who do rule well, laboring his truth and sincerity, pushing his word to the four corners of the earth. So, another video on the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. Yeah, another broken record video for anybody who just doesn't really get it, and actually specifically as well for those who thought this is fake news. I can't think of many people who I've heard who said that. I can recall of one individual who said that. I believe he literally said fake news. Like he in regards to the conversation about it, he said it was fake news. And that's ridiculous because look, this video was uploaded on the 14th of February 2017. It's called Chips in the Hand to Identify Who We Are. Okay, chips in the hand to identify who we are. Okay, isn't that a weird thing? You know, you have to put some type of microchip in your hand to confirm identification some way. It's because that information about you is going to be stored in that chip. Okay, and this video goes into it. And everyone who's saying it's fake news, it's ridiculous. Look, 4 years ago, this video has people taking the chip. Okay, and don't get me wrong, it's not prophecy being fulfilled fully, manifested in such a manner like in Revelation 13 where it says, He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to take the mark. Okay, and then no man might buy or sell save he that had it. That's not the case right now. Okay, we can still buy and sell with this filthy, stupid money that we have now, fake money, you know. And we can still, of course, we can still go by a day, not even taking the max, bro. So you know, prophecy isn't really fully rolled out. You know, at this moment, we can see it slowly manifesting. We can see that's what these damn devils want to push out, though. Okay, and look, they've been orchestrating it in some way or another 4 years ago, man. So how is this fake news? In fact, how could it even be far from you to understand? Like, regards to the Neuralink, okay, that's open. People can watch Elon Musk go and talk about his stupid Neuralink thing. People can go see that it's very open. So if someone's willing to do that, how is it fake news to have a chip in your hand, man? If people are willing to take a chip in their brain, you think people are willing to take a chip in their hand? And clearly they are, because look, 4 years ago, okay, 4 years ago, people already did. I'm just gonna start the video from the beginning. I just want to get that image of the chip to start with.
No bag, no keys, no wallet, and no ID. A move of the hand simply opens doors. Welcome to the future, or what is the present for a group of employees at New Fusion near Brussels.
Okay, so we're saying that this individual didn't carry any keys, you know, a bag or anything. He didn't have stuff that carries his information because it was all in his hand. All right, I said he waves his hand through the, you know, the thing that would actually trace the chip, you know, that would scan it using radio frequency and whatnot, whatever it may be, to actually open the door. All right, he scans it. He scans his chip through the door, and he can open the door. He can open the door, and he's probably gonna do much more things in this video too, man. He's probably gonna go in to look at all his health records and everything, his home address. They're gonna trace a lot of things with this chip, essentially, like, and he can be connected to the internet thing, so he can probably look at things in his home. That's my point. You know, he can use this chip through the computers to see what's going on with devices in his home, or who's watching what. You never know how deep it could get if they're trying to connect people in that manner. This could go really far, especially with that stupid Neuralink. That's a clear example of how that's very possible with even the microchip. Because the Neuralink, they're trying to they try to put in a monkey and he was playing video games allegedly, man. He's connecting with other devices. That's crazy, man. And now he said this is the future, but right now it's the present in Brussels, okay, which I believe is one of the places, like a city in Belgium, okay. So in Brussels right now, there's people who have taken this. I say right now, I presume, sorry, I shouldn't really say right now, but because they might not have any employees there right now doing it. So that might be fake news. So let me try that again. 4 years ago, they were doing it. It's very likely right now. Hey, in Sweden, they're doing it, okay. So let's keep watching the video.
Staff members at the marketing and technology company voluntarily agreed to have radio frequency identification chips placed inside their hands.
You see, they volunteered to do such thing. They wanted to do it. They said, why not? Because they're trusting an Esau's system, man. They're leaning towards it. As they lean towards the so-called white man's wicked devices, and it goes into his ideas, imaginations. He wants everyone to submit to him, and this is the way to do it, man. By having you completely taken this all, basically. This is like you've been pricked in as a badge. You've been pricked in for the sake of like having a badge upon you of who your master is.
The kits were bought online, and at last
Suck it. And that right there was we just saw it, but let me just go back. Sorry.
at the marketing and technology company voluntarily agreed to have radio frequency identification chips placed inside their hands.
See, there you are. So there's a cutting tool right there, similar to as a burin, any type of engraver. You see it. You can see the edge of it. It's like protrudes outwards and has a sharp point. And then it's a wide cylinder. Has a hollow middle, I should say, where they would place the microchip. And then you can see it kind of like similar to how a max needle thing works. You push it through. You know what I'm saying? You push inwards, and then it will give you it'll place the chip inside your freaking hand, man. So that's what they do with this RFID microchip. They're gonna literally cut it into you. It's gonna be a cutscene, just like 𝐤�𝐿𝐄, which of course we're gonna get into today.
Kits were bought online, and a glass tube about the width of a pencil lead was implanted into their hands.
Now we're installing it for ourselves. We control it from ourselves, but if a government will one day will push it into the market or will push it into their people, it will have downsides as well.
All right, so the downsides, yeah, the downside of taking this is you're gonna get your ass destroyed. But let me just clarify, one of the things that he's saying it very loosely, but he's basically saying it, like he's saying the chip is basically going to be implemented. People are going to take it. It's going to have to be a thing. People are going to take the RFID chip, so everyone can be traced. Everyone can have information stored in it. And the reason why they're going to do that is they're going to be basically they're going to just put trust in ESOL that this is how they're all going to be safe. They're all going to be safe if they rely on ESOL. That's what people believe, man.
What we really need to think about is how we handle privacy, how we handle security, which data you can put on it.
The 𐤊𝐿𝐿, a new Fusion developer, designed the software which is used with the chip. So what other doors could it open in the future? Other devices, he believes, may be able to be connected to your own electronic chip, opening up all sorts of possibilities.
You just scan your chip and you get your personal information. Your favorite Spotify track gets added to the Office playlist, so your music is combined with the others, so everybody has their their choice. It brings your to-dos, just like the personalized dashboard. That's one of the applications. It was just kind of a showcase to show what can be done in a few hours. So imagine if you have a few months, a few years, what you can build with just that personal identifier.
Right. You're going to be able to connect to many things, be able to do so much with this chip that people are going to think it's a miracle what this can do for you. You know what I'm saying? It can monitor so much. It could, they could use it as they can emotionally manipulate to say it's safer to have this so people don't get the virus, and then they're gonna be all like, oh my gosh, you don't want to take it, you don't care about keeping people safe. People is out here, man.
5 demos.
It is a technology that in the future could redefine our relationships with businesses. Think of all those cards which you carry with separate chips, whether for banking or transport.
Yeah, think about all those separate chips. The way he said it was weird. I had to pause on that. But that's exactly what he's thinking. You can kind of see. Is that? Let me rewind it. Let me rewind to see. Yeah, it is on his left hand. Let me get a better shot of it.
It is a technology that in the future could redefine our relationships with businesses. Think of all those cards which you carry with separate chips.
Right, you can kind of see. I think if I'm not tripping, it might just be like the shape of his thumb. So I don't really know if I want to say that is the chip that's bulging out there. But nevertheless, as the man was saying, the narrator, it could really reshape the way businesses work. Yeah, well, the prophecy says that they're not going to let you buy or sell without it, man.
Whether for banking or transport.
The library, they have their own card. To every retail shop, you get another card. Your banking, you have 3, 4 Visa, MasterCards. It's so many cards. And instead, if we could turn that around and say, all right, no, this is my identity. that they would connect to you instead of the other way around, then we should have an ideal world.
An ideal world? Far from it. A real danger is how one rights group described the development. A way, the group says, to control workers in offices. And even the technology does not impress every tech expert.
The technology moves fast. And actually, this is the same reason why, if you're doing up a house, it's not clever to build in all the latest tech into the walls, into the floors and everything, because in 3 years it's all out of date. The same thing applies to stuff you put in your body. In 3 years it's out of date. And yeah, there may be security vulnerabilities and all that.
Yeah, you know, so, and he's about, when I paused it, he started going on about security vulnerabilities and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you know, he's saying all this, but sometimes I say sometimes, I really mean damn near all the time. When people say that, you really barely have to even take a grain of salt with what he's saying, because when it's pushed out, when he calls it all to do, when he's causing people to do such, because the vast majority of people, they're gonna fall for this okie doke, man. You know, he might just tag along, especially because, well, now, you know, it's been developed and we've considered it. They might even change this technology, by the way. You know how the Neuralink's been changing? The RFID chip might change just a tad bit. Okay? And then he'll feel comfortable about putting it in his body.
Kind of thing. But do you really want to start digging these things out every 3 years and sticking more in?
That's a good question. I for damn sure don't. I really don't. And you know, you might say that, but maybe then, just like I said earlier, then he takes it. You know, when they start giving a persuasive reason, you know, it's going to be a strong delusion, man. And there are of temptation for the elect, you know, for the elect and those, or I should say for the hopeful elect, you know, to be more clear, because the elect will, obviously we don't know what the elect is, but we're the hopeful elect, and we believe we're going to be tried, and we'll be hopeful that we'll overcome it. And nevertheless, the elect will be tried, you know, and will overcome it. And the hour of temptation is not a joke. It's not something that, you know, people think it's so likely no one's gonna take it. You know, some people think that in the world, and that's like that. They really don't get what the hell is going on. Okay, so we'll keep listening, and then I'll get to the scriptures. About to finish now.
Because that's where we are. It will keep on changing constantly.
There have been previous experiments with under-the-skin chips in Europe. Clients in a bar in Spain, for example, were encouraged to pay for the drinks with them. That was in 2013, but the move was not conclusive, and the experiment soon abandoned.
This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. This word again, Strong's G 5480.
Strong's G 5480, charagma. Charagma.
So charagma, this word means, now it says a stamp here. Now some people say, look, it's outside the body, but then it also says an imprinted mark. Now a stamp could also, nevertheless, a stamp is a physical thing, of course. Let's say you put a wax seal on something, a document of some kind. Say you was to literally stick a stamp on something. Now this says an imprinted mark as well, you know, that could be vague. How this is the main point though. When you go down, it says a thing carved, okay? A thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images. And one of the times it's translated is Acts 17 and 29. It's translated as graven, okay? Acts chapter 17 and verse 29. For as much then as we are the offspring of the Most High, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold, or silver, or stone, graven by art and man's device. So again, that word there for graven is the word haragma, as in something that was graven and cut, like such as an idol, okay? Alright, a graven image, something that you use, that's been sculpted and etched into, using etching tools to make it out of stone or whatnot, or you can carve your name in something. Alright, as this will essentially go into. Haragma actually comes from this word, which is harax.
Strong's G 5482, charax. Charax.
So what is harax? Harax is a pale or stake, a palisade or rampart, pales between which earth, stones, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together. So basically, well, this word is actually translated as trench too. Look, for the days shall, perfect. This is the scripture, right? For the days, Luke 19 and 43, sorry. For the days shall come upon thee that thine enemy shall cast a trench about thee and compass thee around and keep thee in on every side. And that trench, and you know what? That's talking about this, the siege of Jerusalem. That's talking about 70 AD. You know, when we had to flee from Rome, They did actually do that. They came in, they made a trench, they took palisades or pale of stakes, you know, like a wooden stake, like a plank with a sharp protruding edge of it to stick into the ground. Okay, more things to show that it's talking about an actual physical cutting into something, okay, digging into. They actually made a trench, a border around you, okay? It marks like an area. It can also mark you can mark your property, okay? And it comes from the word grapho. Now, what do we notice in this what do we notice inside this video we watched is that they were talking about the information store thereof, all the writings. Grapho just means writing, man, to write with reference to the form of the letters and whatnot. But again, the ultimate word that's being mentioned is charagma. That's essentially the key word, to have something etched and carved into your hand that you cannot buy or sell without. And for all you that keep saying it's talking about sin, and you're saying sin is around right now, well, the mark of the beast must be here right now then. So do we all have it? Who hasn't got it then, according to you, man? You know, because we're all buying and selling. This is clearly talking about a physical mark, man, and we believe it's the RFID microchip, all right? America is going to push this out. Every nation is going to follow after America's philosophies, man. Everyone looks at the well-favored harlot, man, the bloody city, which takes the image of Rome. Now, the image is talking about the doctrines, okay? So this is Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Now, to speak means to be made manifest, like to like, you know, like if, I'll give you an example. Habakkuk, right? 2 and 3. Habakkuk chapter 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, right? So what does that mean? It said the vision shall be brought forth. You'll see it happen. It'll speak. It'll now be made clear, manifest in front of you, and not lie, right? Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Now again, if we if we go back to Revelation 13 and verse 15, I'm sorry, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. What is that talking about? It's talking about the philosophies and doctrines. In fact, taking his chip is part of the image, okay? But it's not the image, and it's, you know, it's not, the mark isn't specifically a doctrine, you know? Icon, okay? Icon is the word here, where the word icon comes from. An image, a figure, a likeness, okay? Or basically a resemblance. Is that word here? No, but that's what it goes into, resemblance, a representation. And this is a good one, I guess. One in whom the likeness of anyone is seen, applied to man on account of his power of command, to a Mashiach on account of his divine nature and absolute moral excellence, right? Because Yahushua was the image of the invisible power, okay? And a figure or likeness, you know, you get the gist. Maybe I should also, one sec. Okay, this helps. A piece of statuary, artificial representation that looks like a person or thing. It resembles, see, look, image, likeness, all that stuff. Okay, to imitate, that's what an image means. I think as well, you might as well type in the word icon. Okay, icon, image, figure, picture, also statue. So it goes into the same thing. And in the Greek word icon, likeness, right? An image, a portrait. Because you take a photograph of, I don't know, something like the Eiffel Tower. I don't know, whatever people take photographs of these days in the world. You might look at that photo and you might have like a representation based on the photo, but then when you go to the place, it's not really the same. You know, that's kind of like how it was. You know, like for a lot of people when they go places. I've been, you know, like for example, that kind of is with me. Obviously, I've been there, so I've seen photos, and then I go there, and it's not really the same thing. It's kind of like it only gave me a resemblance of what I was in for. You know what I'm saying? So again, the image is the likeness of the beast, and the beast is referring there is the first beast, Rome. So Rome that's the image that everyone looks up to, man, and that's through America, because America is that ruling power. So back to the scripture, okay. Now we're gonna go down to verse 17 now, and that no man might buy or sell, right? You don't buy or sell without it, according to Esau Edom, right? Save he that had the mark, right? Save he, except if you had the mark. It said, and that word is charagma again. In fact, just in case you think I'm chan shit, I'll go back here. Didn't mean to go there. It might be useful, but not for now. My buy or sell, save he that had the mark, and that word, look, charagma. Okay, charagma. So 𝐤𝐷𝐷𝐄 again is in 1317. So let's read it. That no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So now the name of the beast, just like the word, name here, the word there, onoma, simply means a name. The name is used for everything which the name covers, everything the thought or feeling of which is aroused in the mind by mentioning, hearing, remembering the name, for one's rank, authority, interest, pleasure, command, excellences, deeds, etc. Wow, that was a very good one. There you go, perfect. In fact, that's actually a good, because that's basically, the word Shum in Hebrew, okay? That's Shem's name. Shem's name was actually Shum, and Shum literally means name. So Shum's name was his name, meaning your fame, your memorial, who you are, your glory. You make a name for yourself. The scriptures talk about a name, right? Now there's a name for that's righteous, that's whether it be glorified amongst the world or not. There's a name that's righteous, that's to be honored, and then there's the name of wickedness that's to be dishonored, whether it be honored or dishonored amongst the world. That doesn't matter. Now Proverbs 22:1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Right? So a man who has like when you hear the name of our forefathers, when you hear the word Dawada or David, you're gonna think about how amazing King David was, the stuff he accomplished. The times where he did go off, but we remember that like the Most High still saw him as perfect. He had that's the person we should reflect on a lot because of that. And our times where we might slip up backs and we might go off. It's just, a good name is, man, it means so much. The name Yahweh is the ultimate name. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, this whole world is for Yahweh's namesake. Everything. And he actually made this world for our sakes. And we're called by his name. Okay? That's perfect. That's a perfect scripture to bring out. I believe it's here. If it's not, there you go. Isaiah 45:4. For Yaakov or Jacob, my servant's sake, and Yasharallah or Israel, mine elect. All right, I'll read that again. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. So what does that mean? It's like he's a husband unto us, And we went off as if we were adulterers, spiritual adultery, essentially. So Jeremiah 3 and verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? The answer to that is essentially no. Shall not that land be greatly polluted? Right? And it says, but thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith Yahweh. See, because we've been spiritual adulterers, because the Most High has a marriage covenant with us. You know what I'm saying? He's like unto our husband. That's what he is. He's us. Spiritually, we're like his bride, and through Yahushua, And here's the deal as well. Like when you take the name of the beast, you're taking his fame and everything. Just like that definition said, you're taking the shum of the wicked man. His name, which goes into his fame, and this chip is part of that fame, man. Because people are gonna get deceived by it, because they're gonna be like, oh my God, it's a miracle what this can do for you. Just like Elon Musk talking about you take the stupid brain chip, you're gonna start seeing people who had Parkinson's be cured, and people start being more functional who weren't originally very functional. And it says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. So if you can't buy or sell without it, of course they're gonna just lean on it if they don't know what the hell's going on. So again, it says that, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Now verse 18 says, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, which is when it says score, that word score basically means 20, okay? So it's 3 times 20. If you imagine score is the value of x, and then the value of x is 20, and then 3x means 3 times 20, so therefore it's 60, right? So 660 and 6. All right, 666. Okay, a very specific number. Many people just say 666, but to be very clear, it's 666. That's the number, and that's that. When you look at the Blue Letter Bible, we're gonna get out now. Listen to it.
Strong's G 5516. Chai, Ksai, stigma. Chai, Ksai, stigma.
All right, chai. Well, really, it's chi, ksi, stigma. I don't know why they say it like that. It doesn't really matter. It's Greek. It's all weird. But, this right here has a big significance to understanding the mark of the beast being the RFID microchip. Over here, this outline of biblical usage, this definition here says 666, the meaning of which is the basis of much vain speculation. Now, that is one of the stupidest things. How could it be vain? The word vain, let's go to the word vain real quick. It means devoid of real value, idle, unprofitable. To be idle means to be worthless. There you go. There it is. Vain. Look, worthless. Void, invalid, feeble, conceit. Why? How is it vain speculation, man? It's in the Bible. You know what I mean? What kind of stupid statement is that? That's one of the stupidest things, man, that I've heard. Something in the Bible, something so deep like the RFID microchip breakdown, and it's supposed to be vain speculation, worthless. Now we're gonna go through it though. Look, 𝐤𝐋, stigma. So okay, I believe it's just in fact, I won't have the reference sources specifically for right now. So forgive me for that, Achim wa Akhwathim. But nevertheless, we're gonna cover these two. I'll do, Lord willing, okay? Let's be honest, man. This ain't gonna be the last video I do on the RFID microchip. Lord willing, of course, Lord willing. But if I have access to it, I have faith that it'll be on my spirit to irritate the hell out of you guys who don't get it even more. Because this is such an important breakdown, man. You have to know what's going on here. So we're gonna start now with 𝐤, right? The middle one right here, 𝐤. Now this word 𝐤 here. Now this is the uppercase. I want you to remember this as well, okay? Okay, uppercase right here. Now I want to also make a point. If you don't already know, I'm not gonna show you in this video. I want to get into it. The ancient Greek script, which is where the Koine Greek script comes from, it's just that there's also lower cases now. The ancient one just had only the uppercase versions, okay? Now the uppercase of the ancient Greek basically comes directly from the ancient Paleo-Hebrew script, and it's about to show you now. So I'm not going to get into it, let's just keep reading. 𝐤 here, so over here it says that 𝐤 uppercase is that lower cases like we saw over there, okay? And just like I said, I'm not going to get into the ancient alphabet and stuff too deep, but I'm going to show you. I'm just going to read what is over here basically and show you that 𝐤 actually is a derivation of the Hebrew letter samak, okay? So as you read down here, 𝐤 derived from the Phoenician letter samak, or what they say today is samek, okay? Now we're going to look at that one, okay? Then we're going to zoom in, right? And you can see why it would be, how it would be derivative and stuff. And of course, like I said, the Greek alphabet comes from the Hebrew alphabet. That's why it's called the alpha beta, you know, the alap bayath, or as they say today, aleph bait, in this modern fake Hebrew. So, you know, I'm going to click this samek now. And in fact, it even said, look, here you go. It says it right here, alphabetical derivations of the Phoenician. There's the Greek, right? There you go. 𝐤, right? And there's this Latin, and then there's this one here, which is early Syriac alphabet derived from Greek as well. Anyway, these are derivations and stuff of the word of the letter, samak, which is a word, and we're going to look at that word too. This word here, okay, the history, there you go. The Phoenician letter may continue a glyph from the Middle Bronze Age alphabet, either based on a hieroglyph or a tent peg or support. All right, possibly this thing about pillars. So anyway, the Hebrew word is going into the word support, okay, and it's going into it's supposed to be symbolic of a tent peg, as it said, you know, some type of support or a peg. Now we're going to look at this in the Strongs, okay? So the word samak, okay, H5564, to lean, to lay, to rest, to support, to put, to uphold, to lean upon. So a type of it would be, as it said, like a peg or some type of post, some type of like somewhat similar to a palisade, okay, a stake, or a pale, as they said, to support, to brace oneself, to uphold, to sustain, okay. Now it's part of that number, essentially, because that's there you are, you know, that's what Harama goes into as well. Not only that, but if you're taking the mark of the beast, you're basically leaning on Esau support. You go to Esau for support, you know. In fact, there's a scripture in Isaiah with this word in it. Okay, this is Isaiah 36:6. Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, which is the word samak, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all that trust in him. Okay, that's actually a really good scripture. Okay, and the word lean there is referring to supporting, to lean on them for help and whatnot. That word is samak. So again, that's part of that number, that arithmos in Greek. The frequency Esau pushes out, man. You got to support on him, lean on him, take that cutting. It's like he's it's like he's putting borders on, he's basically putting a border on you. You're like he's bordering you as a part of his border of wickedness, as he is the border of wickedness. And you're property to him, man, if you take this RFID microchip, okay? Revelation 13, all right, and 18. Now we're gonna look at the last letter, right? Or the last letter that marks a number, which is the number of the beast. And then we'll be out, man. All right, so the letter at the end is this one here, okay? Stigma. This here is stigma, as it says here, okay? Now the Strong's G, listen to it.
Strong's G 4742. Stigma. Stigma.
All right, stigma, or really stigma, I think, if you pronounce it. It says here from a primary stizo, to stick or to prick. I'm reading that here, by the way. Okay, now it says it here too. Stizo means to prick into, okay? A mark incised or punched, okay? It says for recognition of ownership, i.e. figuratively scar or service. Now this has a very good, this right here, the outline of biblical usage is very, very clear. Okay, very, very clear on what it's referring to. Let's look at it. It says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. Again, pricked in, right? And it says to ancient oriental usage, okay? Slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, in brackets, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. See, the soldiers, they're one of the biggest slaves for Esau Edom, because they fight for his system. So they're really gonna do this like quickly, ASAP, man. And there's videos of soldiers talking about people doing it. So I recall of one video. It was actually brothers from GMS. I believe they were from out in LA. There was an individual there. I think this may have been 2012, something like that. There was an individual who came up to the camp and started talking about how in the military there are people who were getting microchips, man. It says here though, slaves and soldiers bore the name, right? To have it born into them, the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, right? It was an all, basically, an all. And it said into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. Now, if they was to do such a thing, because the word God means a judge, a ruler, a power. Now, if they was to do such a thing, take the RFID microchip or the Neuralink, essentially take the mark of the beast, that's what it is, that they will be saying Esau Edom is their master, their God, their power that rules over them. They completely pledge allegiance to that demon, man. Okay? So, nevertheless, whoever basically doesn't believe at this point, it's the mark of the beast. It's possible that they could turn around. The Most High could open their eyes and they could see it. But you got to push this out more. The reason why it's necessary for you to push this out is because we're living in those times where it could be pushed out any moment, man. With everything that's going on. We gotta be circumspect in these times, man. All right. But that's it on that, man. Lord willing, this video was edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, 𝐤𝐿𝐿 Qudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. I'm going to say Shalom wa Barakat, Laha Bachayar, Yasharala, or peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. All right, Shalom.